Hey, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? I got one more, uh, okay, there we go. I want to talk about this Todd and Kandi, divorce, before I leave, if y'all don't mind. Shout out to, a guy by the name of Kempire. Let's start here.
Coco Esquire, I have a question for you.
Oh, hey, Camp. You've been looking good, by the way.
Thank you. A question for you. Did you see the video that I just posted about Kandi and her divorce from Todd?
I saw when you broke the news on the last video.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, quickly, if you can, not quickly, but what are your thoughts on him seeking primary physical custody, but joint
Yes, he
legal custody?
should.
Here we go now.
Yes, he should.
Okay.
And I am typically not me saying that is just based on the reality of life. When you think about the standard for child custody is best interest of the child. And even Ray Charles can see that Kandi is always on the move. And so the option is, and this probably happens, I don't know, because it ain't my life. Some people may take their kids on the road with them. Perhaps they're homeschooled. I don't know if that's the case with her children, but somebody's got to be at home with these kids.
Yeah.
And Kandi is traveling, and that isn't shady. That's just the reality of the life. And if you're always going, always away, you're dragging the kids through airports, then is that the best thing for them? And I don't know the answer. That's for Kandi and Todd to decide.
Write this
But that's
down.
her life, right? And I
There
think
we
he
go.
should ask for that.
What about him now questioning the prenuptial agreement? Challenging.
Yeah, I think that's standard. Kandi,
And now, mind y'all, when he did sign that prenup, he signed that prenup at the wedding venue. He signed that hours before the wedding. Pay attention.
we all need to have, as a community, a come to Jesus moment about how you hire counsel. Because when I saw that video of her lawyer storming into that room with some video recorder trying to record him signing it and saying, yes, you talked to an attorney, and yes, you were, and having him kind of go through this rendition and make these proclamations, I thought this is not going to age well. And I don't know if it was staged or what, but that means nothing. The reality is, if it's true that he signed it only moments before the wedding, that is suspect. That's just suspect. It is what it is. Even if he'd been presented the agreement prior, he did not sign it. And so he could argue that there's a reason he didn't sign it.
He did not sign it.
It was advantageous. As I recall, he even said, my lawyer advised me not to sign it.
Now you got me. I'm gonna have to go back because I can't remember. I mean, it was so long ago now, like 14 years. Well, not 14, like 11 years. So I'm like, okay.
I'm pretty sure that was like a comment that he made. My lawyer advised me not to sign it, and so I don't know why his lawyer advised him not to sign it. But if for some reason he was unfairly disadvantaged in the agreement, and he signed it under the pressures of an impending wedding within a few hours, you don't have to hold a gun to somebody's head for it to be duress.
Exactly.
It's just you want to have a cool head when you sign that type of an agreement, because people say they married for love, but marriage is a business arrangement. Let's be clear. That's what it is. And so they have a long-term marriage, which is what is noted under the law. They've been married for over 10 years. Lots of things have changed in 10 years from when they first sat down to get married. They done had kids. They've got all these businesses. His lifestyle and even Kandi's lifestyle has changed significantly, perhaps in a way that neither of them could have even envisioned.
Nothing but facts.
A relook as to whether or not the prenuptial agreement is the best mode to determine how they're going to, dissolve this union. I think he's got a good lawyer.
Yeah.
What I do note, though, is that his tone, although he was challenging these things, his tone, in my opinion, still seemed very amicable.
Yeah.
As I note, someone observed that she's a great mother. So it doesn't sound like he's like, yo, you need to pay my way. Sounds like he's just like, yeah, I want physical custody because I'm going to be the one that got the kids all the time anyway. You going to be gone.
You're going to be on Broadway for the next until March.
Yeah. And so now what Kandi has to do is say, yes, this is how my schedule in a joint physical custody arrangement is going to be most beneficial for the kids. Now she's going to have to go on her bag and
please.
demonstrate
Please tap
that it's in
screen.
the best interest that they have shared physical custody. And one of the questions that I know came up was about the child support. And, you can have, Todd they can have shared physical custody. And if the kids are with one party more, like they typically do a split in terms of the time. And if the kids are with both parents 50-50 and they're enjoying a similar lifestyle, then custody at both houses, then child support may not be an issue. But if one parent lives in a one-bedroom condo and the kids have, a sprawling estate at the other parent's house, the goal is to have the children have a similar lifestyle wherever they're at.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
So if he's not living that same lifestyle once he moves out of that house, he could ask for more.
Well, he may be awarded child support in the event that they were to even get a 50-50 split. He could still end up getting child support if it was necessary to ensure the kids didn't experience any type of deprivation of their lifestyle. Now, that's not to say that he has to also be living in a mansion, but certainly there's a disparity between your dad staying in a one-bedroom apartment and you having to sleep on the couch versus at your mama house where there's 10 bedrooms and y'all got an acre to go outside and play. Like, so those are two different, the spectrum is massive.
Yeah.
But I think it's totally reasonable. I think he had a respectful statement, as I recall. And I think that he has to do that in order to get any respect for the investments that he really did make into this marriage, even if it was just holding her purse. Like, he made some investments, so good for him.
Well, I just randomly thought of that. Miss Esquire, if you're listening, feel free to call in back just because I want to hear both perspectives.
Anyway, Kim.
Thank you, Coco. We appreciate you.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Bye. All right. I'm going to bring Miss Esquire back up. I want to, first of all, say thank you. But Miss Esquire was in the chat, and she said this. And I'm going to bring Miss Esquire up in just a second. She says, the fact that Todd ignored his counsel's advice not to sign a prenup will come back to haunt him. Then she said, I wonder if Todd is going to be able to show he's taken more of the primary parenting responsibilities during the kids' lives. And she said he absolutely could ask for more, even at 50-50, but much more if he's granted primary custody. So that was my thought, Ms. Esquire, in regards to when I reported on the breaking news earlier. I was just like, I wonder if he's seeking primary custody for, not just because he literally is the primary physical person around and because Kandi travels a lot, but I was like, is there another ploy to that? What's your perspective on this breaking news about Todd seeking primary physical custody and also questioning the prenuptial agreement?
Well, first of all, I'm always going to shout out Miss Coco Esquire. I love my girl down. She is so great. I learn a lot when I listen to her, so I love listening to her. And I don't think we're going to diverge too much. But what I will say is I think I agree with her to a certain extent that he could have gone for the jugular and gone for sole physical custody, not joint legal custody. I think that's a very
Tap screen, please. Please tap screen.
When talking about custody, is like, hey, I think I should be the primary parent, but I think we should make all the legal decisions together about like where they go to school or any health issues that they have. So that is where he's sort of starting. And again, my concern would be, given that Kandi is so busy and she has so many businesses, like, is he going to be able to show, no, like, I'm actually the person who takes them to their activities and takes them on play dates and knows their teachers and goes to the parent conferences and communicates with the doctors and makes the dental appointments, because they did have a non-traditional marriage, it seemed to me, where the gender roles were not so rigid, and so it may come to pass that he's able to show that. And so then the question really is, which parent, if they have a healthy co-parenting relationship and the kids have a healthy relationship with both of them, which parent is in the best position to do the primary parenting? Now, to Coco Esquire's point, I think the problem is his lifestyle that he can maintain on his own is not going to allow him to do that. And if they've equally co-parented the kids, then to me, the courts, in the best interest of the children, to have them not have as much disruption in their life, for their schedules not to change, for their environments not to change as much as possible, would lean towards keeping them where they are and allowing very, very heavy visitation with their dad, maybe 50-50, 1 week on, 1 week off kind of thing. 1 week on, 1 week off, people think of 50-50 visitation as like, oh, that has to be the optimal situation. It really isn't. Not for the kids, it's not. Because you have to think they're in different living situations week by week. They have different routines, different environments, different schedules. That's really, really hard. It actually is preferable in a lot of places, in the best interest of the child, to give them one primary place where they live and very heavy visitation and involvement with the other parent. So I just wanted to also say that, like, I think a lot of people perceive 50-50 visitation or custody as like the optimal situation. It really isn't for the kids. It might be for the adults involved, but that's not what the courts consider. They consider what is in the best interest of the children. You have two very young children who have known their parents to be married in the same household since the beginning of their lives. They're already going to go through a lot of changes, having to adjust to the fact that their parents are not together, and you taking them in and out of their home. It's very disruptive. It's very unhealthy for them. You can see behavioral issues, academic issues result from all of that, and these are very formative years. So
you pull up Surprise Pals.
Get a Surprise Pal design plus Mickey or Minnie Mouse.
Don't just take classes, take charge. Start your comeback today at PurdueGlobal.edu.
Will be interesting to see how he's able to support him being the primary parent. That is what I worry about for Kandi. Has he been the primary parent during the marriage? Because if so, then they're more used to his routine, his structure, his flow, and you're like the parent who kind of comes in and out. And what does it look like for that now to swap? How much support would you need? Would that be putting a lot of people in their lives? If you remember when Martell and Melody were going through this, one of the legitimate things I think Martell was able to say, although there wasn't much, was, hey, you do a lot of traveling, you have a lot of nannies. When you're out of town, I would like sort of a right of first refusal when it comes to my kids. Why should they be with some caregiver that you've, hired or family member, as opposed to me being able to have that quality time with them? That's another argument that sort of kind of will play into whether primary custody is given to one parent or another. The courts do. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you think that it was a smart decision in her taking on this Broadway role?
I think it's a very interesting decision, because I would imagine that the children are domiciled in Georgia. I would imagine that they're educated in Georgia unless they're homeschooled. And so Broadway is 8 shows a week. The only day you get off is Monday. And so I don't know how she's going to be able to do 8 shows a week and primarily parent the children from New York if they're domiciled in Georgia. This is a Georgia filing, which suggests to me they are a Georgia family. This is a Georgia marriage. That's where all of their estate and marital property is. And you're in New York for work right now. It doesn't sound like a great fact. in her
It
favor.
don't.
Could they grant temporary primary custody while she's doing this?
They could, but the question I think that Todd's attorney is going to raise, okay, Your Honor, if you give her primary custody, how is that going to be administered? How is she going to primarily parent those children? Is that going to happen through caretakers like their grandmother, like uncles, or like nannies? If so, then you're depriving my client, who is in Atlanta, who is in Georgia, who's familiar with the children's schedule, from having that quality parenting time with them. Why should that be the case? How is that in the children's best interest? How does that ensure that they keep a strong relationship with their father and there's no alienation from their father while the couple goes through this transition?
Yeah.
If I'm his counsel, those are my kind of arguments for why, she shouldn't be. If there's going to be a temporary situation, let it be a temporary situation that keeps the kids in as stable and as consistent a situation as they're used to as possible. And right now, he may be able to show that's with him, particularly if he can obtain housing really quickly that's in the school district or near where the kids' activities are, and it's not very disruptive. He's willing to allow visitation with their grandmother, with their other siblings. He's willing to facilitate all of that and agree to that. He's willing to bring them to New York to see their mom on weekends. Like, there's arguments he could make in that situation, but it just kind of depends on what the court thinks is in the kid's best interest.
Thoughts on the prenuptial agreement? For those that just joined us, I'm just asking our legal eagles in the building their thoughts on the recent breaking news that Todd Tucker, Kandi Burris' soon-to-be ex-husband, is seeking primary physical custody, joint legal custody, but he's also questioning the prenuptial agreement, stating that he basically signed it under duress. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a legal strategy and tactic to sort of bring in as much as you kind of throw in everything but the kitchen sink kind of approach. And because I don't see it. I don't see even the facts. I don't see any facts being alleged in the response that even to me present duress. Like, he had the benefit of counsel during this time. We all saw that clip where he said, I'm signing this against my counsel's advice, which means he had the benefit of counsel. He was aware of what he was doing, and he deemed it in his best interest. He's on camera during that videotaped signing with her counsel, answering all of those affirmative acknowledgement and informational questions that usually make a prenup airtight. I don't know what the legitimate argument is that they have, but it looks like to me a legal strategy similar to what Miss Coco Esquire said, which was a great point when we were talking about the Wendy case. Remember when I was like, I don't know why they would separate this into two cases. That's expensive for them. Why would they want to put themselves through that, their family that? And she was like, girl, this is legal strategy to wear the courts down, to make these prosecutors work for this conviction, to lead them into wanting to, settle this or dismiss charges. And he's like, okay, right? I forgot that sometimes we just make things weird and awkward as attorneys through legal strategy to make things expensive, to make things go on longer, and to entice someone to settle with you on favorable terms. The prenup feels like it's in that area because the facts just don't seem to suggest that there's legitimacy to a duress claim. But maybe more facts will come out that, make his claim seem more legitimate. I just don't see him right now, but I can see the legal strategy, and at least you can't win arguments that you don't make, essentially. And so sometimes you have to make arguments if there's a colorable claim for you to make them, and there are facts that could, suggest that the claim is legitimate.
So would you say
tap screen,
than just
tap screen, please?
I'm sure I think it's like what it feels like as a lawyer to watch people make certain claims. It's like, okay, I can understand your strategy around that. I can't imagine what that feels like for Kandi, because the whole point of that entire ordeal of going through the prenup and all of the arguments that they had is that you're buying your peace for when things do go, a different way. This was supposed to be our insurance policy that we agreed to at the front end when we loved each other, when we were on the same page for what might happen if the time came where we had to part ways. I was buying my peace then that I'm supposed to have now on that issue. And I'm sure for her it feels like a betrayal. on top of whatever other betrayal she feels.
Well, if y'all saw my breaking story with this, I told you the tea that I heard in regards to the divorce. Before you go, Miss Esquire, Coco Esquire sent a super chat. Thank you so much to Coco Esquire. She says, the feeling is mutual. Love to hear and learn from you, Miss Esquire. Todd challenging the prenup forces a conversation. Kandi is a former single mom, is not going to want to lose physical custody.
Let me tell you something. As a single mom of two, baby, I can't, like, being with if you're with your babies all the time, like, that's why I feel so bad when people do get divorced. Like, as hard as it is as a single mom, I don't have to send my babies anywhere week after week.
Yeah.
And as much as I try to tell my friends who have gone through it, like, hey, take that time to invest in you, do the things you want to do. Like, girl, you get a week off from your kids. You don't have children. Like Melody said this one time during Love and Marriage Hospital. She's like, I didn't have children to not see them every single day. And when she said, I remember that from years ago, when she said that, it broke my heart, because who has babies, and for half of the month, you don't know if they are having good dreams, nightmares, if they feel bad, if they need a hug, they had a good, you can find out through calls, but that would torture me, honestly. I can't imagine. But it is their dad. Like, they seem to both love those babies. If there's any,
tap the screen,
if there's
please.
any heart to be had in this, it's like, well, as long as Kandi knows, they're good with Todd.
Yeah.
As long as he's been a very active dad and a very active parent, maybe that will be a saving grace here. But I still can't imagine any mother, not wanting to tuck their babies in every single night.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Miss Esquire, Coco Esquire, thank you both.
Bye.
Take care.
Here we go now.
Okay, and that's it for that. Here's another clip from Rebel TV.
I decided to bring up against my lawyer's advice.
Even in divorce, I don't think it's right when men be trying to take half of the women.
So you gained your money while the man was with you, and he nurtured you, he helped you, gave you ideas, he was a part of that, that progression. You don't think he should get anything?
Speak on it with Mama Joyce, please. Oh, no. Mama does not need to be on speak on it right now, because she might speak too much.
My mom's a single mother. A lot of my aunts are single mothers. Me and a lot of my cousins are single mothers. And I really hate that I became part of the cycle.
Todd and I were together our marriage lasted 11 years. We were together 14. We got 2 wonderful, beautiful children. I have no regrets. Okay? So, sometimes things don't work out.
River TV.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Riba, and I'm back again with another video. So here we are again discussing the turn of events in the divorce regarding Kandi Burruss.
I gotta pause it for a second. How is single women gonna try to talk to Kandi about being married when none of them women ain't got a man? Make it make sense.
And Todd Tucker. Again, we discussed this before in the beginning. Kandi Burruss is a member of the group Escape. She also is a Grammy Award-winning writer for many songs that a lot of us know. She is the person behind writing the song for TLC titled No Scrubs. She's also, was and maybe is, if she decides to go back, a longtime cast member of the TV show Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I was born and raised in Atlanta. I am an original Georgia peach.
Now, that's actually where she met her husband, Todd. He was on the production of the show at the time, and the two of them, got together, ended up getting married, and then having 2 children. So basically, at the beginning of the conversation that we were having, it was a little bit of speculation. It was kind of like a weird space where people were saying it's because, they had other people involved in their marriage, and the fact that, they invite other people into the bedroom.
Kurt's 230 said threesomes never work. That's not true. I done had a threesome and it worked just fine.
What?
Todd currently have threesomes, or is that something that y'all just did early on in y'all relationship, y'all marriage?
Has it happened in the past 6 months? Yes.
Hold on. Freaky ass niggas, some 69 guys. Damn, I forgot how the song went. Freaky ass nigga, you a 69 guy. Freaky ass nigga, you a 69 guy. Let's get back into it.
There was talks about maybe it had to do with something in regards to finances. For those of you who do not know, her mother and basically all of her aunts were on the side that he was just in it for her money, and you know, he didn't really love her for who she was. It was kind of like a come up situation, and so people thought it was because of that.
I'm here trying to take your daughter's money.
Not taking it.
Okay. Spending it?
This is the absolute best phone holder for your car. Your phone clips right into it and it attaches.
Well, it could have been a scheme that Todd set up.
You know, even in my opinion, I was wondering if it was even a PR stunt, because though they were going through their divorce secretly or their separation secretly, and a lot of people didn't know, she ended up promoting a tour that she was doing, and basically it was about a woman who is navigating life after, ending a relationship. So there was a lot of speculation, a lot of stuff going on. Well, now things have come to the surface. Todd has now come forth, and he basically is seeking primary custody of their two children. And he's also talking about the fact that, when signing the prenup, he didn't get to, go through all the details because he was rushed to sign it on the day of the wedding. So as you can see here, it says Todd Tucker seeks primary custody and challenges the prenup in his split from Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss. And then the caption reads, Mama Joyce, who is actually Kandi Burruss' mother, who I was referring to, who has been trying to, stop the whole thing.
To me, it looked like you're very thrifty.
And to be fair, her mother was very divisive to any relationship that Kandi got into, because, I don't know if she was trying to protect, her daughter's finances, if she was trying to protect her allotted finances for herself from her daughter's income, whatever the case is.
You dogged him out. You treated me. You made him feel uncomfortable in his own house. That's your house. It's our house. I don't want you to be able to choke on a chicken bone and he come over here and tell me I got to get out.
So it says here, Mama Joyce has been trying to tell the world something wasn't sitting right, and now Todd Tucker is officially asking for primary custody of his and Kandi Burruss' kids, while also questioning the prenup he signed before their 2014 wedding. According to legal docs obtained by Us Weekly, Todd says the kids are already living with him in Georgia, while Kandi handles out-of-state work, and he argues her schedule will keep her away for several months. He's asking for primary physical custody, joint legal custody, and final decision-making authority. Todd also claims he felt pressured when the prenup was presented to him, saying he didn't have proper counsel at the time. His filing says the circumstances raise substantial questions about whether the prenup is even enforceable. So it's so interesting because, again, being that they are reality stars and being that they were on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the wedding was covered. Okay, so we have the backstage footage of the wedding, in which people have been releasing clips of the time that they were doing the prenup, in which she actually had it video recorded so that it can be said later on that it was maybe a forged signature or whatever the case is.
Okay, ready. This is a video recording of the execution of the prenuptial agreement between Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker.
Even in the clip, he said that against his, legal counsel's advice, he still decided to go ahead and sign the prenup.
Decided to sign the prenup against my lawyer's advice.
Because he wanted to marry Kandi that day. But then you can hear...
Translation, Kandi strong-armed him into signing that prenup. If y'all reading between the lines. She strong-armed him into signing that prenup.
And the lawyer is asking the questions of if he had enough time or if whatever. On the video recording, he stated that he indeed had enough time.
Acknowledge that you had a sufficient amount of time and opportunity to fully consider the prenuptial agreement and to request changes to the prenuptial agreement.
Yes.
Now again, when they were there setting up the venue for the wedding, okay, when they were putting the chairs up, people were putting the flowers together, all the above, he brought it to her before he went through with the prenuptial agreement that we saw that was on video. And he was still saying, like, you know, that he had wrote comments saying that he didn't have enough time to review it. He didn't have enough time to look through it. He didn't have enough time to scan through. And it was her lawyer who actually was admitting that he said that.
Okay, he wanted you guys to call his attorney, but why didn't you call him today?
Because it didn't seem like it was necessary. He didn't have enough time to advise Todd about the agreement.
Now, Kandi Burruss' prenuptial agreement was what you call ironclad, okay? There were all kind of clauses in it. There were clauses to say that if, she didn't want him no more, he had 30 days to leave the household.
We don't work out. I gotta get out the damn house in 30 days? How do I find a house in 30 days?
Relationship, when y'all broke up, did you just keep living together? Like,
which I think is kind of understandable in the regard that, you know, why would you want to stay somewhere when the two of you guys are going through a divorce? There was other things there that said, that if he gets sick or whatever the case is, that he leave and she not paying for nothing. Like, there was some serious stuff in that prenuptial agreement.
You understand that you're giving up your rights to periodic alimony, lump sum alimony in kind, attorney's fees, and expenses of litigation, property settlement, equitable distribution, and community property.
If I were to get sick, just get out. It seemed like the document was just so business. It felt like Kandi hadn't even really reviewed it.
Now he's right, you know.
Yeah, I'm getting one of Kandi even reviewed it.
A business document. It is, because it's about, there can't be emotion in it, because at that time when people are getting divorced, if they have to go down that route, they have to think in terms of, okay, how can I best protect myself if me and you are at odds, if me and you aren't getting along, if me and you can't be on the same page. Now, here's the thing. I think a lot of people have this ideology of, Todd being a gold digger, and a lot of that, again, comes from Kandi Mama, okay? Because she did not help the case at all.
Don't let nobody take advantage of you like that.
I'm not gonna let nobody disrespect me or tear me down. If your mom can't see that I'm here for you and I'm trying to be down, I don't know what else to do.
And I want to be clear, like, it is obvious that there can be gold diggers on each side. There's no preference, right? It's not like only women can be gold diggers. Whoever out there getting the most gold, the other person, opposing party, can be, in some kind of situation where they can assume the position of gold digger. They can become that over time. They can have a motive that was always there, whatever the situation is. But in particular conversations that was being had, it seemed as though Todd was frustrated prior to the wedding because he wanted stuff that was going to be there to protect himself. And, she kind of wasn't having it.
Todd has never given me any reason to think that we were not on the same page when it came to a prenup. Now that Todd has gotten this attorney, he keeps going back to, well, Randy says, or Randy thinks. No, what do you think? What do you want? Because bottom line is, I'm marrying Todd Tucker, not Randy.
Now, this is the thing, right? And I'm with you in it, right? I literally am that type of person. Like, I don't sway my opinion based off of a certain narrative. I'm an honest person, right? And we have to be truthful about this. If the shoe was on the other foot and Todd was the breadwinner and Kandi was fighting for primary custody and Kandi was saying she didn't have enough time to review the prenuptial agreement and Kandi was in the seat that Todd is in, there would be no smoke at all for Kandi.
Growing up, because I was making money, I used to be like, well, I don't need anybody to help me take care of my child. My mom's a single mother. A lot of my aunts are single mothers. Me and a lot of my cousins are single mothers. And I really hate that I became part of the cycle.
There would be no problem that anybody is having. But that clip that we just saw in which she's, talking about how Todd kept referring to his attorney while simultaneously having her attorney talk to him on the phone about certain things in the agreement with no problem, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with him getting legal counsel for this big, entire, gigantic legal document. The same way that Kandi's attorneys were, trying to protect her, he had legal counsel trying to protect him for whatever case of whatever situation it's going to be. And I think that's completely understandable.
Be clear and make sure we're all on the same page. And make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, cool.
This is what's interesting, right? When Todd and Kandi first met, like I said, he was a production of Real Housewives of Atlanta. At that time, Kandi Burruss was already a millionaire. Okay, a few times over, right? Like I said, she wrote No Scrubs a long time ago. I believe she wrote Bills, Bills, Bills for Destiny's Child a long time ago. Like, she wrote these songs a long time ago. Escape already had a certain catalog, and she was a writer on those projects as well. So her money was extensive at the time the two of them got together.
I used to be a member of the group Escape. We had our first hit single when I was 17. We had 3 platinum albums, and I started writing songs, and have had a very successful career as a songwriter. I've written for everybody from Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, NSYNC, Alicia Keys. The list goes on.
Once the two of them got together, they started to do a lot of different business ventures. They've done, I believe, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe they, invested in a restaurant for her aunts and like her family. They've done plays. They've done all kinds of different business ventures together. And she stated that from that time, that any time that they did a business venture, they had specific contracts, and he got paid verbatim for the work that he did.
Because everything he worked on me with, he got a half of. He's never just worked for me for free, ever.
So in that regard, that would mean that, in the future, he doesn't need to recoup anything based off of what he invested, because he already got payment for his time, his efforts, or in his work that he invested in the situation. Which, again, I think is pretty understandable, right? It's completely understandable. Now, the thing is that him asking for primary custody, people are saying, that this is a pivot so that he can get child support in the future, so that he can kind of anchor certain things over her head, so that he can be able to continue to live off of the revenue that she has been able to acquire for herself. And that's where a lot of people think this is going. Todd Tucker ended up posting, after he put that out there that he's looking for primary custody, he ended up posting this on his social media. It's a picture of him and his mother, and it says, "Mama, I hope you are resting well. I need you more than ever right now. You raised a good man that will continue to make you proud. My boy Raymond left yesterday. Tell him I said what's up. I have a lot of unfinished business down here, but I look forward to the day I'll see you again. And if you see God, tell him I'm doing my best, and I have faith in this journey he has me on, because I know I'm destined for greatness. Love you, the best damn son in the world." So he posted that on his social media, obviously talking about the fact that he's grieving his friend in the time he's grieving his mother. And, he's going through this tumultuous situation, whether it's because he caused it or not.
He got a lot on his
situation, obviously he's going through some kind of tumultuous situation. Now, after he posted that on social media, women went off on him, okay? They absolutely went off on him. However, there was a thread or chain of women who came to his defense, who also were there visually watching what's going on, through television or whatever the case, and had a lot to say in support of Todd. As you can see, it says unpopular opinion, I love Kandi, but she is lucky Todd even stayed long the way he did. Kandi's mother was and has always been an awful person to him. I actually love them together, so I'm sad to see this. Next one says, y'all gotta lay up off Todd. We don't know what really happened. Remember, it takes 2 people to be married. Cut dude some slack. Sheesh. Next one says, she really was the only one who had his back when Kandi mama used to belittle him for everything. And so that woman is actually talking about, the picture in which she posted his mom, and saying that, the only person that Todd had in his corner while Kandi had her mom, her aunts, and all those people was his own mother. Next one says, unpopular opinion, but why are we coming at Todd? That man endured a lot with Kandi's mom and family. Who knows why they divorcing? To say Mama Joyce was right the whole time is a stretch.
Yep.
And that's the narrative that I see. I see a long thread narrative saying like, Kandi's mom was right. She was right all along, and he should have listened to his mom and all that. I see that like a million times when I'm scrolling through social media. But and then Kandi is actually kind of playing up into the narrative. Not to say that she's not going to post her mom or be around her mom, but ironically, in the midst of everybody posting about her mom, she ends up putting this picture on her social media. So again, it's just a messy situation. And one thing that I want to say is that, we're all just kind of watching the situation unfold. We don't know the in-depth reason as to what was the cause of the demise of their marriage. Todd has been in this relationship with Kandi for a very long time. They had outside parties involved in the marriage. They had all these things, you know, and so to leave the lifestyle, knowing the prenuptial agreement that he signed, I don't know if he would by
not
choice
the
do that.
best
Maybe
of
it had nothing
ideas,
to do with the past of
in
what
my
he was going
opinion.
through. Maybe it had to do with
Tap
her
screen,
just
tap
not
screen,
wanting to
tap
be with him
screen,
anymore.
please,
Maybe
please,
she
tap
fell out of love.
screen.
Maybe some of the other parties influenced her. I don't know. But the fact that, you know, it's like if a man and a woman are in a relationship and the woman does wrong, the man gets the blame. If a man and a woman are in the relationship and the man does wrong, the man gets the blame. So it's like, you know, no matter what he does in this situation, he's going to be considered wrong. But again, ironically, if we put the shoe on the other foot and Todd was the breadwinner and she was doing all these things, she would be getting the same amount of support that she's getting right now. I don't know. I'll let some of you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this entire situation. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you. TV.
And this one here's the last one.
Y'all get ready?
Yes, you're ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovely Tea TV Show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovely Tea TV Show.
You ready?
So Kandi did come out earlier today, and she, you know, released a statement on video. So we're going to go ahead and watch what Kandi had to say yesterday.
Any comments on today's game? Of course. I had lots of comments. Throughout the game, in fact. I commented, go, go, go. And, come on. Oh, and who can forget? SEC, SEC. That one's a classic. Sanderson Farms, official chicken of the SEC.
Go ahead, make your day. Samsung OLED S9.
We're going to go ahead and watch what Kandi had to say yesterday.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I am up and down. You know, obviously going through a divorce is definitely not the easiest thing. You know, sometimes, you know, you're cool, you know what I mean? You're moving, you're mixing, you're moving, and you're hanging out with friends. But then sometimes you have your moments of sadness, you know. And me being the Taurus that I am, I like to keep those moments to myself. When I was on Housewives, I really couldn't keep moments to myself when I got upset, so y'all would catch me crying. But in real life, my everyday life, you know, I don't really like for those moments to be shared with the world. So, but I am sharing with my Amazon family today. So I am up and down. And to be clear, yes, I filed Friday. But, you know, this is something that, you know, has been brewing for a while. So all the times you've been seeing me online like, all of that means nothing. I've been going through it, y'all. I've been going through it. Life has been lifing me. Okay? Got it. Anyway, we are having Thanksgiving this week. Let me just say, no matter what Todd and I are going through, we are parents together. We are co-parenting together. We have beautiful children together. So we are trying to make this transition as smooth as it can possibly be for our kids. That is our main concern. So we are keeping it very friendly. I don't know if you guys saw. Well, I haven't really posted all my pictures from Blaze's birthday party, but we both were at the birthday party. We both was there to support our baby girl, and we are going to continue to keep that same good energy going for our kids. That is our goal.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you understand. I'm going to be very honest with you. I am up and down.
All right, so you guys just heard what Kandi had to say. And this is why I say that everything that glitters is not gold, especially the things that people post online. You know, people post these beautiful pictures and, you know, exotic locations, but you never know what's happening once the cameras are off. You know what I'm saying? Once the picture is taken. And for her to say that she didn't really like sharing those moments on Real Housewives, but she had to because she was on the show, but she's willing to share them for her Amazon family. Again, you're exploiting your relationship. No different than when you were on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. You exploited your relationship, your family, for a check. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's not either good or bad. It's just what it is. When you are on reality television, that is a form of exploitation. You are selling your family for views, for, you know, opportunities and things like that. So it's no different than what she's doing with her Amazon family. The only reason why you're talking about it is because there's a check to be had. If there was no check to be had, all this would be behind the scenes in silence. Like, let's keep that real. So, again, people are willing to share certain things. As long as there's a check, as long as it's profitable, they're willing to share it. You know, which is a smart business move. You know, why share the shit for free? But a lot of folks have been going back and digging through old footage from not only The Real Housewives, but I guess she also has an online show that after she left Real Housewives, she was doing like her own little reality TV show kind of on her YouTube channel. I didn't follow it, but a lot of people are pulling up clips from those shows, and it seemed like a lot of things have been brewing for years. Even when I saw them on their last episode, like the last season that they were on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, you could tell there was a lot of friction there. You could tell like Kandi felt like it was more on her, and Todd is feeling like, well, I do work too, you know, I'm producing stuff, it's not all on you. So you could kind of see the tension. So when she said that this has been brewing for a while, I definitely believe it. So we're going to go ahead and check out some of those clips now.
Everything else we've done together.
Right. Which I thought we was always going to do together, and then you tried to cut me out.
I create a lot of things that I don't care that I don't get credit for.
Okay.
Now, mind you, this scene was in 2022. Okay?
Anything I create, Kandi, da-da-da-da.
So you want
Some weird words.
But that's the way it feels.
and that's the way it's coming off. You resent her because it ends up being something that you have created. It ends up being Kandi and Todd and not Todd alone. Or it ends up being, Kandi's husband, Todd. That's what it comes off as. You may resent her for that, but that's not no Kandi.
To New York, I can't do this alone, so I need you.
Why are you talking like you be doing something alone?
You be taking multiple vacations throughout the year. When you're not here, it disrupts the flow.
You leave for months. If I leave a weekend here, a weekend there, but you leave for months, you don't think the flow is disrupted when you're gone for months?
Okay, whatever. When I'm going because I have to work. Why are you going to Miami?
Hang out.
Wow.
We're not on the same page. When we got together, we were doing everything together. But it's like now that I'm doing something he's not a part of, like this Broadway show, he's killing him, I guess. Hey, for it tonight for you to see it.
Me too. You looking like this week, huh?
We leaving.
Yeah, you looking this week. So, I did want to talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm grounded. I'm trying to get this chicken down. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go on the tour.
What you mean?
There's a lot I really need to do. I need to accomplish.
What you really need to do?
You figure 30 cities, that's gonna take me away for 2.5 months, pretty much.
So, what are you going to be doing that you can't do while on the road?
Well, I got the team together. I got my own office now. And we're just kind of getting ramped up on this movie, and I don't want to slow up.
See, I knew you and this dang getting your own office BS was going to try to separate us and put space in between us. I know you was gonna do this.
It's not putting space in between us.
Any other time you'll be like, okay, well, I can do it by phone. I can talk to the team by phone. I can do my Zooms. I can do this. And now all of a sudden, because you got a new office space, you can't go with me.
It had nothing to do with the office space. It's more so, I couldn't do the other movie because you're not available, the one that you're in. So So I have to create something that you aren't in so I can continue to do stuff.
Okay.
Because if not, I'm waiting 2.5 months for you to get back to do something. It's kind of like, I don't want to just be sitting around and I got everybody at the office all amped up to work, and then I don't want to kind of, I got to go with my wife on tour, so we're going to shut down.
Who is everybody?
Omar, Reese, Larry. It's just a few people. It's like 3-4 people.
Who the hell is Larry?
And here's the thing I see with Kandi. I see when it comes to something that Todd wants to do, it's like Candy's there, but she really don't want to be there. It's like Kandi is used to everything revolving around her. But when it's time for her, to show up for Todd, it's not the same energy. Just saying.
Who the hell is Larry? See, that's the problem. When you got a couple that's been together, we always be together 10 years straight. We do everything together. We work together. Now you want to get separate office spaces. Now you got new people coming around.
But the thing is just...
My words. No.
Say your words. I'm Marco.
Guys, you trying to be separate and all that. Like, I don't know what I feel about that.
If I go with you on tour, you doing what you want to do. You're on stage. I'm not on stage with you. It's not us doing it together. It's me kind of just going to support you, to be that comfort for you. But I got to get some stuff accomplished too. That's all I'm trying to work on. I got to do these movies. This is what I really want to do. I don't want to be without you.
And Todd's basically telling Kandi, it's your turn to show up for me. It's what he's saying.
I like waking up. I like being in the back of the tour bus with my R&B chick. Come on. Okay, Todd.
She is so dismissive, man.
Whatever, don't sound like I got to this.
I'll come out on some dates.
Yeah.
Dismissive.
A lot of times people try to base their journeys off of what other people are doing, but
there's a lot to unpackage with that clip,
Yeah.
You can see the hurt in Kandi, like her energy. But I also feel like this, if he's been there supporting her for over 10 years, they're always on tour together, he's there at her beck and call. He's there to be a supportive partner. At
She
some
needs
point
to do
in
the
time,
damn thing.
a man is going to get tired of that. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? A man's role is to, one, be a provider and to have their own. And I think that's just what it is. He wants to have his own separate from Kandi. He wants to say, I've done this outside of Kandi. I'm just not at her hip. I'm just not her assistant. You know what I'm saying? I have my own little thing going on over here as well. Because let's not forget, Todd was part of the production team on Bravo. That's not an easy job to get. He was a camera operator. He was a producer. Like, he was an intricate part of behind the scenes at Bravo when they ended up falling for each other. Okay, so Todd has always grind, and he's always been in television industry. So then to be getting up every morning with a purpose and working, and then to have all that slow down, I think for him it was fun at first because he's with an R&B chick. She got money. He don't really got to worry about nothing. But after a while, when you're used to being independent, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you start to get that itch where you want your own. It's no different than women who feel like they're kept by their rich husbands. And the husband's like, I don't want you to work. Kind of like, what's that show? The women in Mississippi, there's like this reality TV show that Carlos King, what is it? Bell Collective. That's his name, Bell Collective. Latrice Rogers and her husband, Cliff, he's an older man. Cliff is balling.
rich, beautiful home. He basically wants her to just be at home and just be arm candy and be a mother and have his child. She doesn't want to have any children. And, you know, she thought at first it was cool, you know, being with an older man who has money, but she wants her own. So that's been a big contention in their relationship. And I think a lot of times as women, we can understand it from a woman's point of view. Like, yeah, let Latrice start her own hairline. She has Goddess Links. They've opened up a joint restaurant together. We want to see Latrice have her own independence. And I think a lot of times we forget that sometimes when men marry into money, they feel that way as well. To me, this is just a reverse of Latrice and Cliff and Kandi and Todd. Not saying that Todd ain't doing other shit. What I'm saying is that I can see why he wants his independent, separate away from Kandi. He wants something that is of his own. But, you know, they've had businesses, they've had restaurants, and I think a lot of those restaurants have since closed. So maybe he's going back to what he knows, which is production and, you know, movie and television. But let's go. I'm going to play you a quick clip of Latrice and Zaddy, okay, Mr. Cliff. So y'all can kind of understand where I'm coming from when I'm saying this about Todd and Kandi's dynamic.
Like, I understand where you're coming from. I do. Because if you would have did that, I would have been upset.
What I'm trying to tell you, as a husband and wife, we should be together. And I respect you as a woman, but as your husband, you got to respect me. You don't go sign contract without my consent.
I've been let down so much to where if I go off the radar too fast, and it's like, oh my God, I got this, I got that.
Baby, everything will come on. If you told me or not, if you're going to get the contract, you're going to get it. Either way.
That's how you think, but if we thinking different, then that's just what it is.
You don't understand what I'm trying to say business-wise.
Basically, he's basically trying to tell you to chill out for a second.
As long as you get what you want your way, you don't care. If everything goes sour, then you look like a fool. So I'm done with it.
Alright, I'm ready to go.
Well, you can go. What do you mean? Because as long as you don't get your way, then you go cry all it is. But the truth.
My husband is supposed to be happy for me. This is the best news that I've gotten in a while. And instead of him congratulating me, you're belittling me. Just be happy for me. Do what a husband's supposed to do. Support your wife.
Vape, but I don't like me to vape, you know? I only do when my friends do it, or on the weekend.
Support your wife.
But see, that's the difference. He's the breadwinner. He wants you to play a certain role, which is to be the pretty wife, have babies, and he goes out and brings home the bacon, you cook it, and you do all your wifely duties. So that's why I always say, y'all, the grass is not always greener on the other side. You know, just because you're marrying somebody or getting with somebody with money, especially if you're a very independent person. Now, if you're just a lazy-ass bum who just wants to be taken care of, if you're a homosexual, this is your motherfucking goal in life. But for people who've had a life before their partners and before their spouses, that can be stifling and suffocating. So I want to just kind of show both sides. Because before Latrice ever got with Cliff, you know, she was doing her own thing. She was young. You know, she didn't have a lot of businesses, but she never sat around. She was always a hustler and a go-getter. So let's watch some more clips of Todd and Kandi.
As my beneficiary, and then I'll put you after Riley because I'm sure Riley gonna make sure, you know, her little sister and brother will be still taken care of. Like as if you won't make sure Riley's good or something.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was like.
Wait, did she say that, or you just kind of get it from the conversation?
No, she said that.
That she don't think I would make sure Riley was okay.
Basically, she didn't want to leave it up to you.
Wow.
You know, you do have to prepare for anything. Yeah. And those conversations are the hard conversations for people to have. I mean, just like even when we did the whole prenup, that was hard.
It didn't have to be as hard as it was.
My mother and Todd have unfortunately had a long negative history.
Well, I do feel you're opportunist.
What do you think I'm getting out of it?
What you getting out of it?
When she introduced Kandi to Todd, I told her I could have choked her.
But it ended up being good. They got married.
Well, Kandi took a lemon and made lemonade.
Then after we got married, it seemed like that she was trying to get a little bit better.
I love you, and I am so proud of you. And I'm sorry.
then after that, I don't know what happened. It's like things have started to go backwards again. And I don't know what to do.
She's probably more concerned about herself.
Well, she also talked about not wanting my name to be on her house. So if something happened, then she ain't got to deal with you.
Damn, that's crazy.
And this is another issue that I had while watching Real Housewives. It seemed like there's just certain things you don't have to run back and tell your husband, especially that your mother is saying, because it's clearly hurting him and it's causing more conflict. And Mama Joyce was a negative person in their relationship, marriage, you know what I'm saying? And I just felt like she would run back and tell him every single thing. Everything doesn't need to be repeated. And I low-key feel like the only reason why she was repeating everything that Mama Joyce was supposedly telling her was to say it to Todd to gauge Todd's response, to see how he would respond to certain things, because she didn't want to outright ask those questions herself. And as you see, once I start showing you guys the clips of the behind the scenes of her new show on YouTube, Todd kind of does the same thing. He starts saying topics and asking questions based on how he really feels, but he's trying to act like it's not really his feeling. He's just talking in generalities. And that's kind of what Kandi would do, but using Mama Joyce as a scapegoat, if y'all understand where I'm coming from.
No, that's not even part of the conversation.
No, but it is to me, because even in divorce, I don't think it's right when men be trying to take half of the women. I don't think it's cool. Like,
Whoa. There's some hypocritical bullshit. I'm sorry. So it's okay when a woman do it. It ain't okay when a man do it. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck them. Brothers over fatter do that shit like mob ties. My bad, y'all. I had to get on my finesse 2 times for a minute.
Man should always be a man and be able to handle his own.
So you gained your money while the man was with you, and he nurtured you, he helped you, gave you ideas, he was a part of that, that progression. You don't think he...
Whether Kenny likes her or not, any money that her and Todd made together, Todd's taking half of that shit.
To get anything? You did it all. She did that. Let's work on this. Like, he's setting you up. He's organizing. He's getting this shit right.
You said like a Wendy Williams situation?
Oh, I don't really know that thing. But I'm just saying that he helps you blow up.
I'm saying because he's like her manager, right?
No, I'm just saying someone who really influences, who's really there. So now you blew up.
And Kandi is outright trying to dismiss what Todd is saying. I see why Todd has been looking annoyed for the last couple of years.
Wasn't blown up. Now you blew up.
Okay, I like how Steve Harvey said he is now. Why? But the money I had when I came in this thing,
nobody's talking about that's not even part of the conversation.
No, but it is to me, because what I'm saying is when you and I got together in marriage,
right,
and we made more businesses, we made more, there were more things happening.
Right.
To me, the money.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised they lasted 11 years. I'm just saying.
That was made after a marriage, that's a different conversation, because we both contributed, whatever.
No, that's not even part of the conversation.
But you see how now, when he's talking in generalities, he's really speaking for himself. He's really speaking on what happens if we get divorced, but he's trying to play it off like that's not even part of the conversation. I'm saying this, and this whole Todd ain't leaving. Child, objection. Todd is not leaving empty-handed.
Hell no, he ain't.
You might be
and
able to
he
get the money that
shouldn't.
you came into the marriage with, but Todd is not leaving empty-handed, bitch.
Fuck no, he ain't.
Todd said he gonna get him some money because he helped prop you up in your later years. So I don't know. The whole thing is messy. Let's watch some more clips.
What do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right here. Damn, it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off right here. Thank y'all for being here. See y'all later. Peace.